This video is brought to you by John Robson Guitar Tuition. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting the channel by enrolling on a course, purchasing some guitar lessons or a t-shirt, or you can join my Patreon. Now, on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. If you were watching on Thursday, you may have seen that I was going through a little bit of a setup guide about how to dial in what I think is a kind of a decent sounding guitar tone, kind of rock crunch, kind of edge of breakup kind of tone in Guitar Rig 6. The reason I was doing this was because one of my students has just got Guitar Rig 6 and was, kind of asking for some advice on how to set it up, and he suggested maybe there was a video in it. So I did the video. I did a video on in a similar vein when I first got the software, but I've got a little bit more experience of using it now, so that was sort of the point of Thursday's video, just a little bit of a revisit really, and that's where we're picking up the threads today. You see, because back when I used to use amp sims and VSTs and plugins and stuff to get all my guitar tones, one criticism that I used to get in those days was that we can't really tell what the guitar sounds like. Everything sounds the same when you play it through this digital stuff. So I thought, well, is there any truth in that? So I decided I would do a little piece of music with several different guitars to hear if their character shines through or whether you're just hearing the simulation. And that's what's coming up next. Have a listen to this and tell me if you think all of the guitars essentially sound very similar and very samey just because all you're hearing is the simulation. Let me know what you think. So there you go. That is, as I say, a bunch of different guitars all running through Guitar Rig 6. We'll take a look at the settings in a moment, but before we get there, I'll just mention that, as always, you'll find a full tab for that piece of music in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats, along with a clip of me playing it and a jam track for you to play along with yourself. All of that is up on my Patreon page. You can see the address on screen and the link is in the description. $3 or £2.50 a month gets you access to all of these additional goodies that go along with these YouTube videos. A massive, massive thank you to each and every one of you who support me in that or any of the other ways, all of which are linked down below in the description. So let's talk about the settings I was using there for that sort of crunchy, power chordy, classic rock, riffy sort of stuff. I was using the Lead 800 setting there on a classic crunch kind of user preset that I dialed in myself. A little bit of reverb and a little bit of delay going on, but those weren't courtesy of Guitar Rig. Those were courtesy of just the native effects in Reaper that I tend to use whether I'm using amp sims or whether I'm playing into the Blue Guitar Amp 1 Mercury Edition, which is my main source of tones this time. So I'm only kind of showing the Guitar Rig settings that I was using here. For the clean chords, again, the cool plexi, like a low gain Marshall, sort of almost like a JTM 45 kind of sound. That sort of reminds me of. For the cleanish lead, twin reverb thing there like that, and you can see I had a little bit of twin delay on there as well, just to give it a little bit of stereo wideness and just a little bit of ambience to the sound. And then for the shouty solo-y sort of stuff, there was this Soldano simulation that I was using there with those settings, and again with the twin delay that you can see on there. So, what do you think? Were you just hearing the software, or were you hearing the the individual guitars? Was the character shining through? I've got to tell you, for me, especially on that kind of intro power chord part, I think there is a very clear difference. You can hear when the PRS changes to the Les Paul, and when the Les Paul changes to the Sire, and when the Sire changes to the to Blondie, my signature guitar. I can hear a difference in those sounds. Is it a huge difference? No, but it is there. I think that the differences were much less pronounced the higher the gain got. For instance, when we went to the clean lead part playing the Les Paul on the neck pickup, that was, I think, very, very different in tone from what did I use on the early verses. I think I used the PRS and the Sire on the earlier verses. Yeah, just different. Different character of sound. You weren't just hearing a generic kind of computer-generated sound that would sound the same no matter whether you played a Squire or a Sir into the front end of it. However, when the gain was wound up, I didn't really hear any difference there between, like, when I did the first kind of high gain solo bit on Blondie. The difference in tone between that sort of high gain solo, then there was the one I did with the Sire, and then it cut to the Les Paul. I didn't hear any difference in tone there because the gain was just too high, and that's much the same as you get with a real amp. The higher the gain, the less you kind of can discern what guitar is going into the front end of it. But we're just going to see how that compares with, as I say, plugging into the Blue Guitar Amp 1, the Mercury Edition, and I'm on the Vintage channel, which is kind of like an old school Marshall kind of tone, very much like the sound you were hearing on that power chord riff. So what I'm going to do now is play that sort of riffy bit on this guitar, then I'm going to swap out to the Sire, and then I'll probably pick up Blondie, and we'll hear if the differences are more pronounced or less pronounced when I'm playing through an amp. So here we go. So what do you think? Is there a bigger difference between the sound of these, kind of twin humbucker mahogany body, mahogany neck guitars? That's what I was trying to do in there, in that piece of music, compare like with like. So all guitars are, mahogany and maple construction with twin humbuckers. Did you hear more of a difference when I was playing through, as I say, the Blue Guitar Amp 1? Or did you hear more of a difference when I was playing through Guitar Rig with that JCM 800 simulation? Let me know what you think down in the comments. Personally, I think the differences are more pronounced when you're playing through the actual amp rather than the software simulation, but I don't think the differences are absent when you're playing through the software simulation. So I can kind of see where people were coming from when they were saying that the amp sims and stuff kind of flatten everything out and make everything sound a bit more generic. But to say the differences aren't there and you don't get a sense of what the guitar actually sounds like, I think is less than accurate. Let's put it that way. And that is very much the video for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed what you've seen and found it useful and informative and hopefully a little bit entertaining in some places. Well, most places maybe. And if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. And why not drop me a like as well while you're at it. Don't forget the live stream every Friday, 5 PM UK time. We drink beer and talk about music and guitars and all manner of good stuff. Great way to kick off the weekend. I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.